Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
On behalf of Whitetail Rendezvous, this is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and I want to say thank you to everybody for making 2016 a banner year. Why? Because we went over 100,000 iTunes downloads. Why? Because we had over 300 guests on the show. And talking about the show, sometimes my guests are in a tree stand, sitting in a pickup truck on the top of a hill, or just don't have great bandwidth to pick up the recording. So I apologize for that. We're doing the best we can, but this is a real show with real people in real places.
This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 317.
Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and we're going to connect with Blake Alma and also Eli Gordine today. And Blake is a published author and the host of the Outdoorsman Art Radio Show on WRVO. Some of Blake's favorite activities is hunting, trapping, survival techniques, and, of course, camping. Eli grew up in Utah, hunting and fishing, enjoying all the outdoors has to offer. Blake just released a brand new book called The Hunter's War. Stay tuned. It's going to be a very interesting show. Hey, listeners, don't forget to text 33444 Food Plot for your free Food Plot ebook. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Hey, Happy New Year to everybody out there. It's 12/30 of 2016, so 2 more days, and then we got New Year's. So on the show today, we've got 2 really interesting people, and Blake Alman's going to blow you away because this young man's doing a heck of a lot. He has a show. It's called The Art of an Outdoorsman. He's an author, and he just does a lot of work in media. So, Blake, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me on the show.
And we got your co-hosts also, Eli.
Yeah,
God.
Yeah, Eli's here on the show too.
Yeah. So, Eli, say hello.
Hey, guys.
And Eli is the co-host of the Outdoorsman and an avid hunter. So, having said all that, Blake, why don't you give some people some background on yourself?
Yeah, my name is Blake Alma. I started, I'm an outdoor writer. I'm an international radio show host with the Outdoorsman Art Radio Show, and I'm the founder and managing editor at the Art and the Outdoorsman. And I started writing around the age of 7. And at the age of 7, I had nothing to do with the outdoors. Could care less about the outdoors. I'd gone fishing once or twice, but had no interest in the outdoors. I would probably rather be inside playing on my Game Boy all day, but at that time. And so I started writing little picture books for my grandparents and my parents, and that's really where my passion for writing came in. And after I started writing picture books, I started writing some little short stories, and it kind of evolved from there. In 2012, I started writing a book called The Outdoorsman's Bible. I finished that about a year later and got that published in 2014, and now that's available on Amazon.com, The Outdoorsman's Bible. And that involved into more books, into This World Can Be Cold and Bitter, The God, the Outdoorsman's Devotionals, Harvesting Nature's Bait Shop, and now More Than Just a Rat Trap. And right after I published my book, More Than Just a Rat Trap, I contacted this company called Outdoor News, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Blake, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, not much, man. I just thought I'd let you know about my books." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Would you be interested in contributing to our Outdoor News youth running contest?" I'm like, okay. And so Outdoor News is a newspaper all across America that publishes outdoor news, and it's a fun and great program. And so I decided to write an article for them. It was called The Camouflage Fox. It was the very first fox I've ever trapped. And what happened was I had the trap set up as a dirt hole set. I had some squirrel guts in there, and I went over and I looked over at it. It's been 2 days I hadn't trapped anything. I look over at it, and I noticed the trap's all messed up and the bait's gone. I'm like, well, that stinks. but I did not see a fox. Okay, this is a fall autumn day, and the ground is red because of the leaves. And I go up, and boom, this big old fox comes at me, and he about 6 inches from my legs, getting ready to take out a chunk out of my legs. I didn't even see it. Hence the name camouflage fox. It's blended in with the leaves. And then in that article, I described why we should be have some caution while we're trapping. And that was the very first article I really ever wrote. And I won the contest. I'm staring at the plaque right now that I won. And I won Youth Writer of the Year in 2015. And they just did the 2016 contest. I'm not sure when the results of that comes out. And that's when my outdoor writing origin began. I started writing for Survival Life in March. I stopped writing from July, and I started doing more freelance work. And then in May, I started my own radio show on WRVO Radio. It's called the Outdoorsman Art Radio Show, and I started that, and that was what really got me out there, and that's really where my foundation began. And now I'm writing a new book called The Hunter's War: Vegans versus Hunters. Eli Ford, the book, and that book is ultimately about why are vegans wrong and why are we hunters right? And I wrote the book so that hunters might understand why veganism is so wrong and why is it becoming such a growing thing in the nation, and why should hunters stick up for it, and why should we teach our children to say, hey, veganism's wrong and this is why you can be a hunter. Because if you look at my generation, I'm only 16. If you look at my generation, hunters are ceasing. Okay, I mean, I'm going to guess in my generation there are less than 1 million hunters that are under the age of 16. That's what I'm going to take a guess here in this nation. And it's a dying art in this nation. And in order for us to bring it back, the hunters that are older than me and the generation above me must teach my generation how to hunt and why this veganism, this growing, I don't even know what to call it, this growing thing in this nation is wrong. And so I wrote a book. It's about 60 pages long, and I wrote a book about it. And I'm extraordinarily passionate about that subject because I've received hundreds of hate comments, death wishes, death threats. But Eli and his daughter Ariana have suffered it far more than I probably ever will. And so, Eli, why don't you tell them a little bit more about your story?
So basically, I'm pretty quiet and didn't get out on social media a whole lot. And then we went to South Africa. I mean, my daughter and I, we both have our own Facebook pages. Mine's Wings and Things Hunting. Hers is Ariana Braids and Bows. But we went to South Africa, and while we were there, the outfitter said that they had a problem giraffe that they needed cold, basically, and asked if either of us had any desire in hunting a giraffe. And Ariana looked at me and says, Dad, can I? So we did it. We signed up, and we went and hunted down this giraffe, and it took about 4 hours. We drove around in trucks for 4 hours trying to find this one specific giraffe, and finally located it. She shot it and posted pictures on her social media page at Ariana Braids and Bows, and it blew up. We had 24,008 comments within like 48 hours. And it just snowballed from there. It was being shared all over the world. We made the news in New Zealand, Europe, France. I mean, just everywhere.
And what's that Facebook? Say that slowly so our listeners can hear it.
Ariana Braids and Bows. That was her page.
Braves, right?
Yep.
Braves and Bows?
Yep. And
yeah, it's a crazy story, man. It's sad. It wasn't necessarily just vegans. Vegans are those that enjoy animal life more than human life because they refuse to use any animal products. There's a big, huge, significant difference in a vegetarian. A vegetarian is one who doesn't eat meat because either they don't like the taste of it or because they have health issues, cholesterol issues. I have nothing against vegetarians, nothing at all. In fact, let me first say this. I love vegans. I really do. But what I do not like is their belief of veganism. I despise the belief of veganism. And Ariana and Eli have suffered that tremendously, and it bugs me. She received, 5,000 death threats and 75,000 hate comments. That just
disturbs from the vegans,
me.
I got to get my arms around this, guys. Just from the vegans saying, or just all people, because not all vegans, some of my family, they just don't eat meat. I get that. That's fine. But they know I kill stuff. They know I hunt. They know, I go fishing. I'm a hunter-gatherer. I'm a better hunter than a gatherer, and I don't farm so much, but I go out and do that. And we have never got into a bad conversation. And
it's more than likely because of the fact that they are vegetarians rather than vegans. Even some vegetarians would call themselves a vegan. Okay, so a vegan is one who refuses to use any whatsoever non-animal products. Okay, that would include meat, eggs, fur, anything, just whatever you classify that. And sometimes, generally, they don't drink milk, but sometimes they classify that as animal waste. So sometimes they'll drink milk, and we'll talk about that later. But vegans refuse to use any animal products only because they think animal life has a greater meaning than what God gave them. And the purpose of animal life is to serve the man. And the purpose of the man is to serve the Creator. And that's why God created animals, for our own benefit of human life. And then you have a vegetarian. A vegetarian generally doesn't eat meat because they don't like the taste of it, and that's okay. Or they have it because of health issues, or they believe that it could cause cancer or something. They have some superstition that it will cause physical harm to their body. And I have nothing against that. And generally, vegetarians have nothing against me because they don't believe that animal life is greater than human life. They just do it for their own personal health reasons. Vegans, on the other hand, believe that animal life is significantly more greater than what we hunters think it is. And there is no greater purpose than the animal to serve the man. And so there's a significant difference in vegans and vegetarians. And sometimes a vegetarian will call themselves a vegan, unbeknownst to the fact that they're very, very different. You can just go Google the term. Huge significant difference. And so it's not called vegetarianism. It's called veganism for a reason. Veganism is putting animal life over human life and refusing to use any animal products.
Now, listeners, I know you're all across North America wondering, why is this on Whitetail Rendezvous? Because I have friends, and Kirsty Pike, CEO of Proas, and she has a blog about the atrocious, ugly, put any adjective that some of her posse, the Proas posse, has gotten just because, just like Ariana, they've gone out and they've harvested things. They've put things on the ground. They've killed things for consumption, for their trophy room, and for their own personal enjoyment. People like hunting. And so I thought it was important that we had Blake on and Eli on to kind of give us some understanding, because this battle is going to get larger and larger, because there's people out there that hold sacred that whitetail deer. They're above humans, as I understand it. And I just stand on one thing. God created man and created animals. Animals are created, and we're to be stewards of them. That's why we're supposed to manage them. They're supposed to give us food and shelter and tools and all those things. You just have to go back to the Native Americans. You have to go back to the land bridge that the Inuits came across. Those people survived because of caribou. They survived because of their hunting and gathering skill sets. That's how they survived. Before all this happened, we're talking thousands of years ago.
Exactly.
That happened.
Here's what the Bible says about animals.
Spin up on that. Go ahead. Spin up on that, Blake. Or Eli.
Real quick, here. Go ahead,
we don't start speaking out and being heard and bringing back the heritages from our ancestors, it's going to go away. It's going to be a dying thing. And so, we need to be heard just like the vegans and animal rights activists are being heard today. We need to be heard as avid outdoorsmen that, hey, this is the way it was. And if it wasn't for us being stewards over the animals, we wouldn't have or be where we're at today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we wouldn't exist.
No, we wouldn't. Exactly. Here's what the Bible says in Genesis 1:16, okay? This is moments after God has created the world, okay? After he created everything in the world in 6 days. It says this, and God said, let us make man in our own image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion, keyword dominion, over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon this earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created man and female, he created them. And here's what the Merriam-Webster dictionary says. What is the definition of dominion? I want to focus on that word right there, dominion. It means supreme authority, absolute ownership. That's what dominion means. God says, hey, animals are yours for the keeping. I'm going to give them to you. You take care of animals. You do what you want to do. You have complete dominion over them. But if you look at the context of Genesis 1, nowhere does it say that you can eat me. Here's what it says. Now you're like, well, what, Blake? Let me read this. It says, let me see if I can find it here. It's in my book, and so I'm actually looking at my book right now. And then in Genesis 30, it says, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb of bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in which the fruit of the tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. And what that verse is saying, that plants shall be meat for you. Why would the Bible use the term meat, first off, if it's a plant? Okay, let's go to Genesis 9:3. This is after the great flood. This is 2,000 years later. Every moving thing that liveth, which is all animals, shall be meat for you, even as the green herb I have given unto you for all things. That verse replaces Genesis 1:30. Why? Before the great flood, there was no rain, there were no mountains, the earth was completely flat, there was just one big old island. The earth was much easier to inhabit. After the flood, the world divided into 7 continents, many islands, mountains, hills, canyons. There was no longer flat. The earth was much more hard to inhabit. There was rain, there was snow, there was sleet. The earth became more physically hard for us to live in. And God's like, well, they can't live on fruits and vegetables anymore. They won't have that protein. They won't have that strength to live on this earth. So here's the meat. You know what? The animals are already yours, but now I'm going to authorize you to let you eat them. Every moving creature shall be meat for you. What does meat mean? It doesn't mean just nutrients. It means significant help. That's what it means, significant help. And so that doesn't just refer, hey, that means me building muscle, like I have physical help to pick up this water bottle next to me. No, it's not referring to just that. Meat means for our own benefit, livestock, working animals like cows and horses, whatever that case may be. Animals are to serve the man. And so we have pets and zoo animals. Pets are to bring us company. They're not for our eating. We don't eat pets. That's dumb. I'm not going to shoot a pet. And I'll have Eli here tell a story about Pirates Morning on Good Morning Britain. But I'm not going to eat a pet. That's dumb. I'm going to use a pet for the purpose, to keep mankind company and for our enjoyment. Just like a zoo animal. It's to bring us money, to bring people in as a tourist attraction, to bring us money. That's the point of zoo and pet animals. Everything, God gave every animal a purpose. And somebody over there was like, well, Blake, what's the point of a worm? I was like, well, think about this. First off, I can use a worm as fishing bait, so that's a perk right there. But more importantly, God created worms to fertilize the ground. Their slime and mucus fertilizes the ground. And then I was like, and God created the bird to manage the population of worms. It's just a circle of life. It's just a giant circle. To everything, God gave animals a reason. And so now if you go and talk about the animal, the gorilla that was killed here in the Cincinnati Zoo, I live in Cincinnati, that became a huge havoc all around the world. I think it was foolishness. The little boy fell into the cage. If I saw a little boy fall in the cage and there's a gorilla in there, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take out that gorilla. I care about the human more than I'll ever care about gorilla. I'd kill every gorilla on this planet in order to save one human. I love humans. I could care less about a gorilla. Now, I enjoy gorillas. I think they're cool zoo animals. What's the point of the gorilla? To bring us joy, to bring us enjoyment, and put them in zoos for our own benefit, to make money from it. But the moment that we put a gorilla over human life, that is hate, that is murder. The Bible says, if thou sayest Raka to thy brother, I hate you, to be translated, that's what Raka means. You have committed murder within your heart already. That's in Matthew 5. I talked about that in my book. And vegans have such a hate toward us hunters that it's murder. They gave Ariana thousands of death threats. That's murder. And so that's one of the many reasons why veganism is such a big deal in this nation. It's hate toward hunters. That's what veganism is. And so now, Eli, would you feel comfortable about telling your story with Piers Morgan on Good Morning Britain?
Yeah, no problem. So we got asked to do an interview with Good Morning Britain, and we had no idea who Piers Morgan was. And they came to us, asked us to do an interview. We said, yeah, we'd do the interview. As we sat down with the interview, it was announced that we'd be interviewing with Pierce Morgan. And I looked at the cameraman, and I'm like, who's Pierce Morgan? And I says, oh, you'll find out. And I'm like, great. So here we go. So we sit down with this guy, and, at first he was pretty cordial, and then his questions started being a little more prying. And at one point he actually looked at my daughter, which, mind you, Ariana is 12 years old. He looked at her and said, Ariana, I see you post pictures with you and your pet cat. And Ariana was like, well, yeah. He goes, so how would you feel if I went and hunted your pet cat and killed your pet cat and then posted pictures with it? And I looked at him and I says, that's a derogatory question. No, it's not. And I says, yeah, it is, because hunters don't kill cats. We don't kill pets. Are you calling all these animals, giraffes, zebras, deer, elk, lions, all your pets? They're not your pets. There's a totally different thing. And Ariana looked at him and he says, so because I'm a hunter, I'm not allowed to have pets? And it just shut him right down. It was actually quite funny.
It was funny. Like he wouldn't even let, he closed up the show. He was done. And here's exactly what Pierce Morgan said. He said, I talk about this in my book. I write the exact words he says. Imagine him saying this with a high British accent, okay? On your Facebook page, there are pictures of you cuddling your pet cat, right? You love your little pet cat. How would you feel if I came to your house one day and I hunted down your pet cat and I killed it, and then I posted pictures of me celebrating the slaughter of your dead cat? Right? And then I write right after me quoting this, right? Why in the world would I hunt a pet? No hunter would just kill a pet because they have the power to kill. That's just one dumb question. And so that was dumb.
That's weird.
I know it's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
I can't. I'm trying to correlate Blake and Eli. I'm trying to correlate why a person would even say that, because it's counterintuitive, because people put their pets on pedestals. There's some people out there, they're companions, and I get that. But he just said that he would come in and shoot your pet, where he doesn't, he can't make the jump of let's just go back to stewardship, because if I asked him, would you believe in God? He'd probably say, probably not. Because as far as we brought up the scriptures, you think about it, and if you don't believe the Bible, and everybody can believe the Bible or not, that's their right. But if you're a believer of the Bible, then you see things differently than an atheist or an agnostic or whatever. And so, the sanctity of life, just as you said, I would kill as many critters that are trying to kill my grandson, I take them out. Just, it's over. A person does the same thing. I'll just say it. I would give my life to save my grandson against anybody or anything. Period.
Against anything. Absolutely.
I agree totally. I'll tell you a quick story about cats real quick. There's this girl, oddly enough, her name is Morgan, and she goes to our church. Okay, and our church is a pretty small church, and she gives me she's anti-hunter at heart. She wants to be a vet. That's fine. She eats meat, oddly enough, but she's totally anti-me, okay? Every time I walk by her, she's like, oh, it's you. Oh, despicable, blah, 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 blah. And she thinks I kill just because I think it's fun. I really don't. I really don't like getting blood all over my hands. I don't find joy in that. I don't find joy in that. I get no pleasure in that. But one time I trapped these cats, 3 kittens and 1 mama cat, in a life cage trap. You know what my dad told me to do? He's not. I mean, he's not anti-hunting by any means or anything. I mean, he's not like, oh, just go kill animals just because. But you know what my dad told me to do? He told me to kill the cats, because they were stray cats, and I really didn't know what to do with them because they were in my woods. And I'm like, well, I don't know. He told me to kill the cats, and I kind of looked at him like, well, Dad, why would I kill the cat? And he's like, I don't know, the pest. And I'm like, I don't know. And I kind of looked at him like, I'm not going to kill these cats, and I let the cats go. I didn't kill them. I've told her that story over and over again. I didn't just kill the cats because I thought it would be fun. I let them go. I'm not going to kill a cat just because I can. And so that's one of my cat stories. And I just don't understand why people think that hunters are only going to kill pets, because they're different. There's a game animal was given for animal products, whether that be meat or fur. Okay, pets were given for our own personal enjoyment. I talk about that in my book. Every animal has a purpose, and so I just don't get why anti-hunters, animal activists, and vegans are so against me. There's really I don't get it. Just why? Oh, because he hunts fox, he hunts raccoon, he hunts rabbit, he hunts squirrel. If you read my book, I talk about a story how I trapped a chipmunk one time. I accidentally trapped a chipmunk. I felt terribly bad. I really did. Like, I didn't want to kill this chipmunk. I wanted to get a squirrel because I love to chase a squirrel. And so I was like, you know what? I want to put his death to a good use. I skinned him up, and I salted his hide, and I turned it into a bookmark. And I turned it into a bookmark, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to write an article about this. You know what? I'm going to make sure this poor thing gets a good funeral, I guess. And I wrote this article, and I received about 100 hate comments in the first day. And one of them I received, it's in my book, I talk about it, and here's exactly what he said. This is the very first death threat I've ever received. And I was 14 at the time. And this is when my fire was lit. I've never even experienced a taste of anti-hunting in my life. And this is what he said. Blake Alma, my only wish is to fill your skull with molten aluminum and hammer your fingers alive and drill your teeth with a strong driller. I'm serious, because you are a bad and useless creature, unfortunately. Even though the creature, with quotation marks around it, is much for you, then let's just say you are some atoms just taking up space. And wow, I was like, ouch. And me reading that at the age of 14, I'd never experienced. I was just like, because I killed a chipmunk? A chipmunk? What is it? What? He's not Alvin the Chipmunks. They can't sing. It's a chipmunk. What good does a chipmunk do for you? They destroy your garden. There you go. So they're pest. And so I just don't get. I just don't get it. What's the point? And I talk about that a little bit. Generally, a vegan. Remember, there's a big difference between vegetarian and vegan. A vegan is generally an atheist. And when an atheist, here's what an atheist believes, that we evolved from animals somehow. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me, but fine, we evolved from animals or whatever. And we evolved from animals, but they don't eat animals because we evolved from them and because they were here first and they have a higher calling than we do. I guess that's what they believe. But where did animals evolve from? Think about this really hard. Plants. So if animals are more important than us because they were here first, plants must be even more important than animals. And what are vegans really eating? Plants. And so that would put them up more thought than the hunter, if that was the case. And that's what they believe. And so to me, that doesn't even make any sense at all. I'm like, okay, you're being very hypocritical. You're a liar, first off. And so there's another thought that they have. They're hypocritical. They contradict themselves. I'm like, okay, so your point is, animals have nervous systems. I'm like, God gave animals nervous systems on purpose for mankind's benefit. There is no greater than between animals.
Ariana, what did you do with all the death threats?
Most of them,
what did you do with them?
I talked about it a little bit in the foreword. Most of them we just deleted, ignored. There was a few of them that, I addressed, and some of them we turned into.
Why you're a hunter, Eli?
Well, I grew up hunting. I grew up in the outdoors, much like Blake. He started writing when he was 7. I probably started hunting as soon as I was old enough to walk. As soon as, my dad would take me out in the fields with him, and we'd hunt pheasants, ducks, doves, quail, rabbits. I mean, I can remember stuff way back then. And, for the most part, it was for exactly the purpose of putting food on the table. Not only that, I think it builds memories. Better memories and stronger memories than what, going to the movies or hanging out with your family, doing many other things. To me, you build stronger and better bonds while you're out hunting in the wilderness in God's creations than you ever could in a man-made creation, such as a movie theater or amusement park or something like that. The memories that are created while out in the wild far outweigh anything you could do anywhere else. And so, I started as a young boy, and I enjoyed it, took off with it as I got older, and then when I had kids of my own, I introduced them to them. I mean, my youngest boy, my oldest boy, I think he was 6 months old when I took him on his first deer hunt. And I vividly remember it. He was sitting in the car seat on top of the car when my current wife then shot her deer, and I picked up the car seat and we walked down to the deer with him in the car seat, and then all took pictures together. But see, it's memories like that he may not remember them, but I do, and we have pictures to verify it and all that stuff, and we can relive it over and over and over.
But yet there's thousands, millions of people that think that's gross.
I don't know that there's millions of people that think that's gross. I think there's millions of people that don't understand it. And I don't think that they necessarily hate it for the right reasons. I don't think they hate it for the hunting and the meat and that kind of aspect. I think they hate it because they don't understand it.
I would say most people here in the 21st century are on the fence about this situation. They're kind of like, I don't understand hunting. It's a little cruel, I think. And then on the other side, like, oh, man, I do understand hunting. Oh, it's for food. It's for food. It's for human life to be human ease of life. And they're on the fence about it. My generation is. But they're slowly moving over to the vegan side of things. And if we don't explain to them why is hunting so important and why veganism is so wrong, it will put them on the vegan side of things, and the hunting industry will die. And vegans will illegalize the act of hunting. Why? Because if there's no hunters, who would fight? And then the government isn't making any money from it, from DNR money or taxes from Bass Pro Shop, because they have no sales anymore. Well, what would be the point of government supporting hunters? They'd move over and support vegans, because that's where the money's at. And so if we hunters just sit back and say, well, it's not a big deal. Who cares? Nah, my kids can be vegans. I mean, whatever. That kid down there that's walking down the street can be a vegan one day. I don't care. I'm just going to enjoy my own hunting skills. I'm just going to chill and not tell anybody about that skills of the outdoors. If we do that, we will cease. And so the skills of the outdoors must be taught. Okay, my dad, my mom, they're not outdoorsmen. I taught myself everything I know. And I knew at the age of 13, I'm like, man, these guys don't think this is very fun. Nobody thinks this is a cool thing anymore. Oh, this is weird. Why don't they think this? And then I realized, I'm like, well, if they don't think that, remember, cool was invented one day, right? Whoever said, oh, no, not killing animals is cool. Somebody invented that one day. That's dumb, okay? Killing animals for food is fun. I think it's a fun outdoor pursuit that gets me free food on the table. It tastes great, and it's enjoyable. Those memories, like Eli said. And one day, somebody classified it as uncool. And that's what our modern generation lives for. Coolness. Whatever's cool, that's what they're going to do. And in some ways, I understand that. I do some what people would classify as cool things. But hunting is what's cool. God said it's cool. Hey, it's cool, guys. You go hunt. You're cool. Yeah, you're good. And so our modern generation will go to the vegan side of things and fail to hunt, and we'll find hunting cruelty, and they'll just eat vegetables if we don't educate them and say, hey, veganism's hypocritical. There is no greater than between animal life and plant life. They're exactly equal in God's eyes. And so what's your point? There is no point to veganism. There's none. Zero. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. And so, because they're killing plants just like we're killing hunters, and there's no greater than. So what's the point? There is no point. And so we as hunters must educate them and tell our generation and even help ourselves understand why veganism is wrong. Why is it even a big deal? Some hunters don't think it's a big deal, but it really is, right? And eventually veganism is going to take over and get rid of us hunters if we don't do anything, okay? And I mean, there's just a prime example of that. Anyway, I'm going to go off on a limb here. I'm anti-gay, okay? And the Christians sat back and just let gays win their rights to become gay. And the Christians didn't do anything. That's what would be the same thing with hunters. If we don't do anything, vegans will win their right to not hunt. And so they'll illegalize the act of hunting. And so if we don't do anything as hunters, we will fall. And
what about the cattle industry, the pig industry, the turkey? So at Thanksgiving, no more turkeys. So no more ham, no more bacon, no more
that sounds terrible.
Any meat. I mean, so now we're talking billions and billions of dollars. The cattle, the sheep,
absolutely,
all that. Billions of dollars are going to go away, and people might think, Bruce, you're smoking weed in Colorado. I live in Colorado, so I'm not, folks. I'm not. But anyway, having said that, you can extrapolate it out, And you can just look back at our history and see how things have changed. And, the political correctness of our world is just insane. It's just absolutely insane. And I'll bring up something that I'll just throw it out there, because some people think they have a right to not to kill a baby. Not to have an abortion. And, we're wading into stuff now, but that life, when it's conceived, is a living, breathing entity. It's alive.
Yep, I talk about that in my book. Mm-hmm.
It's alive. And so, when you start thinking about people that say, oh, you can't kill the animal, but the same people will go have an abortion, I go, well, how does this work? I can't get my head around that.
Think of it this way. Vegans won't eat eggs. Why? Because it's offspring of a chicken, but yet they have no problem with us killing the offspring of human.
It's an embryo.
It's hypocrisy. Just like I said, it's just hypocrisy. They don't care about, again, they treasure animal life over human life. And then meanwhile, vegans, they eat fruits and vegetables, which are offsprings of plants. And so they're just extraordinarily hypocritical. It's just like, okay, you're not eating the offspring of a chicken, but you're killing the babies of the offspring of humans, but yet then you're eating the offspring of plants. So, I mean, what's your point in all? I mean, what's your point in all of that? And so, I mean, there is no point. But in my book, I haven't released my book.
Let's talk about your book. Let's jump into your book and then roll into part 2. Hey guys, you don't want to miss part 2 of Blake Alma and Eli Gordine. And we're going to continue talking about the Hunter's War, the differences that we have today and the battle that we fight, and talk more about Blake's book, The Hunter's War.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.